Welcome to RCAM. I'm your host, Ryan, and thank you for tuning in today. So, today we are going to be talking about um, what are we talking about today? Hold on. Sorry. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, yeah, we'll be talking about the diabetes Barbie streamer Jack Doherty crashing another car. So he crashed one car and now he's crashed a second car. So we'll talk about that. We will also be talking about Cardi B's blasphemous outfit that she wore on I guess Paris week. I don't watch fashion shows. I just saw the tweets and figured we'd take some time to dive into that. And also we will be discussing the mixed reviews for Superman. And then there's a whole bunch of other content that I got on deck to talk about today. So it's going to be a packed show tonight. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Now, cool news. Yesterday I got my first feature by Rumble. That was sick, okay? That was really cool. They pushed me over the chat goal and it was a huge win for me. So I'm very grateful for that opportunity. And today I have taken the liberty to try to up the ante for my stream. So there will be some new elements I have added in, and I'll be adding a little bit more every stream, trying to bump up the production value and continue to do my best to bring you guys quality content, because that's what I aim to do. And I appreciate all your support. I appreciated that feature yesterday, and I appreciate, most importantly of all, those of you who've engaged with me and supported this stream via either in the chat or sharing or reposting any of that. It's not lost on me, and I am very grateful. Okay, so let's get into this. So I guess we'll start with the Jack Doherty story, because that's I think that's a little pertinent. So a while back I had covered Jack Doherty. This kid on Kick streamer, he's one of those IRL streamers, which is, I guess, one of the prevailing topics to stream is just doing everything in real life. And I've actually spoken my piece on this. I think a lot of the IRL streams, not all of them, but most of them, are the Gen Z equivalent of the Jersey Shore. Essentially, that's what they are. They are the Gen Z equivalent of the Jersey Shore. They're low IQ, brain dead streams that don't add a lot of value other than drama. So they try to keep people entertained with drama and nothing but drama. And Jack Doherty, believe it or not, he supplies that handily, especially with his inability to drive a vehicle without crashing it. So we'll play a clip that I have on deck from last year. Oh, and we'll also show off the new kind of background. So I got this all set up. Oh, look at that. Look, come on, come on. Does that not look a little bit more legit? All right. We got the subscriber count, likes, follows, viewers. We got all of it. Although there's still some things I need to add. I need to test some things out with the chat, but everything's there and it looks I I'm I'm pleased with it. I'm pleased with it. I'm happy with it. So yeah, I'm stoked. I'm geeking out over this. And I'll add some sounds eventually. I know I do think I have sounds if somebody follows, so that'll be cool. I'm gonna adjust them. I just threw something in really quick today because I'm like, I just want to try. I just want to test it out. So we'll add some sounds, something that, to go off if we get rated. So I'm still figuring some of this stuff out. I'm still figuring out how to raid. I'm gonna try that again tonight. We'll see if I'm successful. And then I'm gonna be like, all right, there's something I'm doing wrong. All right, let's watch this video though. Oh.
Oh! Oh! No! 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 Holy shit. Holy fucking shit. Oh,
Idiot.
Michael,
Idiot.
are you okay? Holy fuck. Oh my god, bro. My whole
Oh my god, bro. I almost killed you,
bro,
bro.
my whole fucking car, bro.
You're bleeding out of your face, bro, but
No fucking
my car.
way. Oh my gosh. There's no fucking Michael here.
There's no way he got into an accident, even though he was driving like a moron in the rain. Dumbass. Ooh. Sorry. That's not very Chris-like of me. Idiot.
Michael, do you have film on that phone too? No.
What a dummy. So this was his first accident, all right? So that happened. And bro made sure his camera was okay before anything. Yeah. What a tool, man. All right. So that's his first accident, and he just got into another one. So, and look, drama alert. Jack Dougherty crashed another car.
All right, guys, I just crashed another car. I think it's officially time I get off the road, but hey, we got more at home. Let's go. All right, guys.
Yeah, you know what? He needs to buy a Tesla. At least he's acknowledging that he needs to get off. He needs to get off the road, but he's an idiot. This guy is just an idiot. He can't drive. Get a Tesla. Get a self-driving Tesla. Automate yourself off the road. And honestly, that it's people like him that are going to make automation happen sooner than we think. People that do not know how to drive. They're going to be the people that end up pushing us down this path to automation way faster than we intended. And it's obnoxious. It really is. It's just obnoxious. And I wish he would stop driving. Honestly, I would prefer that. Don't spoil it for the rest of us. Have somebody drive you around, but he's going to be the person that helps usher in automated driving, and then it's eventually going to be illegal for us to drive because this idiot can't drive. And when was the last one? Actually, let's see. What was this? This was July 1st. This was October 20. Yeah, so less than a year. He's crashed 2 cars in less than a year. So yeah, that tells you everything you need to know about Jack Dougherty. He's an idiot. So all right. So let's get into our next topic, man. We are going to be discussing Superman. All right. So I have had mixed feelings about this new Superman movie. I've been pretty excited about it. I'm a Superman fan. I've enjoyed Superman, and he's probably one of my favorite DC superheroes. And I really liked the Man of Steel. Maybe not Batman versus Superman, but I liked Henry Cavill's rendition of Superman. I thought he did a good job. And now we have this new Superman. I don't remember the guy's name, and I'm just getting mixed signals from it. Some people say it's woke and pro-immigration. Some people say it's not woke at all. So I'm just trying to parse through this. I am gonna ultimately go see it for myself, but it did get a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. This is only with 55 reviews. It's probably actually, let's just see what it's at right now. Rotten Tomatoes. Let's see. What are you at now, Superman? So it's at an 8. Okay. Actually, it's doing really good. So 261 reviews, 83%. Okay. 95% by verified users. So that's enough for me. That I'm convinced. I'm definitely going to go see it. I don't really care if if there are other people that aren't particularly happy with it. Oops. Hold on. I just want to fix this scene real quick. All right, there we go. But yeah, it seems like it's getting good reviews at least. But then you venture onto Twitter and you see things like this. James Gunn says Superman is about an immigrant that came from other places and how we've lost the value of basic human kindness. Yes, it's about politics. And this there is a video of this. I think this is actually his um you're an American Superman director, James Gunn. This is James Gunn's brother's take on it, so we'll listen to what he has to say.
It is exactly what the movie is about. I think that, like, we support our people, you know? We love our immigrants. We love, yes, Superman is an immigrant. And yes, the people that we support in this country are immigrants. And if you don't like that, then you're not American.
Oh, yeah, if you don't like immigrants, you're not American. Also, last I checked, no immigrant coming over here has superpowers. Unless you count draining America of all of its resources, superpowers, then yes, they have them. They have they're very skilled at doing that. But none of them have superpowers. So Superman is not an immigrant. He's an alien from another planet. That is what Superman is. I don't know why this is confusing for people, and they wanna hoist political opinions on this when they just aren't there. They don't exist. So I don't quite understand it. I don't get it, but it is what it is. So I do think this guy is talking off the cuff. This may not be the exact opinion of James Gunn. And hopefully he has chosen to not get into politics. And based on the reviews, I'm kind of assuming that, but there are some things slipped in there that just got me like a little on edge. So we'll see. So this is from the Quartering. And the new Superman movie, Superman's iconic motto, truth, justice, and the American way, is now truth, justice, and the human way. The movie is fine, but they can't help themselves. Yeah, they can't help themselves. Why can't we just be pro America? Why do we have to turn everything into like globalization? Why can't we be proud of our own country? Superman is an American icon. Why can't we recognize that? Why can't we celebrate that? I think my viewer tick is broke because it's definitely not what's showing up at top. Right now we got 12 and at least one in Rumble. I'm gonna have to fix that. I'm gonna have to fix it, figure out what's going on there. But anyway, I do think this is kind of silly. They have to just slip something in, just a virtue signal or whatnot. But not all the reviews were bad. We had this from Tim Pool. He said Superman is 8 out of 10. Not woke, not even remotely political. I mean, I do trust Tim on this. I think if he's saying it's not remotely political, then it probably isn't remotely political. It's probably fine. There's probably nothing political about it. He said Mr. Terrific was epic. We'll have to see. And then he said, one thing I can say is James Gunn took his canceling personally. And I do recall vaguely James Gunn getting canceled. I don't remember exactly what it was about. I'm gonna look that up because I am curious to see why James Gunn got canceled. Why was James Gunn originally canceled? He probably said like an inappropriate joke or something like that, something stupid. James Gunn was originally canceled in 2018 when Disney fired him as the director of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 due to resurfaced tweets from 2008 to 2011. These tweets, unearthed by conservative pundits, contained offensive jokes. No. Offensive jokes? No, how could he? Uh, Such as sensitive topics of oh, these are actually pretty bad. Uh, pedophilia, rape, 9/11. Maybe the AIDS one isn't that bad. Holocaust. Okay. Oh, I'm not about pedo jokes at all. At all. Or grape jokes. Examples include statements like I like when oh man. Yeah. All right. So he deserved to kind of get canceled. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I guess those jokes are pretty bad. Yeah, I don't like those kinds of jokes. It's particularly the first two. Like that's gross. Anyway, so he did get canceled, and it seems like maybe it was but they ultimately looked past it and brought him back. So I thought Tim Pool did a he I think did another tweet too. I just want to see real quick. Whoa, what is this? We'll come back to that in a second. A protester was seen apparently firing some kind of weapon at a federal agent during an immigration raid at a farm near Camarillo on Thursday. It's unknown if anyone was injured. Oh yeah. Holy smokes. They gotta arrest these people. Dang, this guy tweets too. Oh, he said Superman was good. Okay, that was it. There was this other guy that tweeted too. Flash, Yellow Flash guy. So I'm gonna assume he is a DC fan. And he said Superman was great. Nothing woke, and the immigrant thing is BS. It's a fun comic book movie and unapologetically so. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Can't we just get like a regular comic book movie that's fun? We don't have to worry about. We can just enjoy eating our popcorn and just having a good time. That's what the people want. We just want to go to the movies. We don't want to be lectured, and we just want to have a good time. Honestly, I would rather know politics. I don't care what your politics are. I wanna go to the movie and just enjoy a good story. All right. I don't want a message rammed down my throat, or at least a political message rammed down my throat. I just want to eat my popcorn and watch Superman beat up bad guys and save the day. Like that's what I want. I don't want to lie. It's not too much to ask for. So I will definitely be going to see this movie, like without a doubt. There's no question in my mind. I'm going to go see it. But I uh I I'm going to go in with an open mind, and not let any of the negative comments taint how I go into viewing the movie. I'm just going to go in and just enjoy a movie. And there are a lot of times too, like I'm not going to say like there are some examples where when somebody says something is woke, they are really on point, like the Star Wars acolyte, gay lesbian space switches. That was really woke, okay? That was definitionally woke. Um but I do like to give these movies a chance. When somebody says it's woke, I go in and I watch it with clear eyes and try not to let, my bias affect my ability to enjoy the movie. So that's what I ultimately want to do. And that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna try to sneak out and see it sometime, either over the weekend or during the week next week, probably Tuesday, because AMC does the discounted movies. So I'll go see it in AMC. All right. We're not gonna go too much past well, hold on a second. All right, yeah, here we go. So Cardi B, your favorite rapper, she's great. She is truly one of the most brilliant minds of our generation. And she is upping her fashion game to new heights. New heights. So here we have her in, I guess, this Cardi B was living on a prayer at her latest Paris Fashion Week appearance because she showed up looking like a nun or a sperm cell, depending on who you so yeah, I guess, is it blasphemous? I don't know. Is she trying to be a nun, or is she trying to be a sperm cell? Because that really does determine how I would respond to this. I don't know. I don't know what you guys think, but I'm thinking I'm thinking because of her hand gesture, probably a nun. She's going for something a little religious here. And I just wonder if they get tired of blasphemy. Like, I wonder if they just get, wake up one day and be like, you know what? I'm kind of tired of this. Maybe they'll get tired of this when, uh, you know, they're standing before God on Judgment Day. Be like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I shouldn't have blasphemed a little against the most holy God. Maybe I should have rethunk that in the name of fashion. But aside from it being, if this is really her pretending to be a nun, and I do think it seems very likely that it is, it just looks stupid. Like, it looks dumb. It looks ridiculous. Who would walk out of the house looking like that? It's not. I honestly, like, at these fashion shows, you see some of them, it looks like they're wearing garbage bags. It does look like Zoolander, legitimately. It looks like you're watching Zoolander. The fashion is just ridiculous looking, and I think that's how this looks. There's another one. There's another photo I saw where she's just wearing like a drape and holding a crow. It's a little
No
loud.
flash,
It's
no
blowing out
flash.
my eardrums.
Cardi, were you scared handling the bird?
No, I'm not scared of the bird.
Did you practice?
No, I've been, that's my friend. I control him. We're best friends.
So she just has a raven. I'm not gonna lie. That actually kind of makes her a little bit more likable, having a raven, if that is actually her pet. But why is she wearing a drape? why why is she wearing like a curtain or something? I don't know. It's weird. See, I don't get this. I don't get this fashion. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. Does not compute. Okay? It's very bizarre. And I just don't get celebrity fashion. I'll just be real with you guys. It's very bizarre to me. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, yeah. Okay. So I want to approach this next topic with a little bit of sensitivity, okay? I'm going to give you my perspective on why I think this is kind of ridiculous. And I'll present you kind of an alternative perspective that I've heard. I get it. I sympathize with it, but I still think overall it's kind of ridiculous. So this is by the New York Post. Barbie's first doll with type 1 diabetes comes complete with accurate glucose monitoring and insulin pump. Barbie's first doll with type 1 diabetes. Yay. There's a brave new Barbie in the box. Mattel announced the release of the first ever Barbie doll with type 1 diabetes, complete with a continuous glucose monitor and an insulin pump in Barbie's signature pink. Now, a lot of people are commenting that type 1 diabetes, is very common, especially, children get it too frequently. So it makes sense for Barbie to release something that is, makes these kids feel seen. And my criticism of this though is that why does every aspect of society need to be represented in toys? Why does every type of person need to be represented in toys? Are we going to have burn victim Barbie next so that burn victims can be reminded that they're disfigured? Like, is that really the right thing to do so that they feel seen? Because, like, if I'm a kid, all right, and I have some sort of ailment or disability, I really don't want to be reminded of it every time I go to play with toys. Like, that would not be like the toys is where you kind of use your imagination to pretend you're something you're not. Every time I play with toys with a kid, like they had superpowers and they were awesome. Because I didn't have superpowers and I wanted them. I couldn't do that. All right. So I was pretending. All right. And you don't need to make mirror images of you don't need yourself reflected in everything that you do. I'm playing a video game right now. Um, the characters don't look like me. No, they have a beard like me, but that's it. They don't look like me. That's okay. That's fine. I don't need to have myself represented in everything that I do. And many times, like at least with storytelling, you can relate to them in different ways. All right. Beyond just appearance, and kids can use their imagination, and these toys can become anything that they want. And I don't view this too as Mattel having a real heart for kids with type 1 diabetes. I seriously doubt that. I think this is obviously, them virtue signaling and trying to show everybody, how much they care. Now, on the flip side, there are some kids. There's a couple people that were commenting that like this sort of thing. But I think, is there really a huge market for it? Even if there are kids that feel good about seeing a Barbie with an insulin tracker strapped to her waist. Is there really a market for that? I'm not. I've never met a kid with diabetes. I'll be honest with you guys. And if I have, I've been unaware of it. But I just don't think there's a market for it. So what would make more sense for Mattel as a company is I do suspect these being just a niche item or collectors buying it. Just make custom Barbies. So if a kid wants, have somebody that specializes in making these custom Barbies, and if a kid wants a Barbie with an insulin monitor, on it, they can make a custom one. If a kid wants a Barbie that has elephantitis, they can build it. If a kid wants a Barbie that's half burned, they can buy it that way. They can custom make their own Barbie. That would make more sense to me. I don't know. I don't know if I'm that seems irrational or even insensitive, but it doesn't make sense to me to have a whole line of Barbies for this small market. But again, I'm not in charge of their marketing. Maybe virtue signaling still works. Um, I'm just I don't I don't see this even being wise financially for them. And I think most kids are just not going to care. They aren't. My daughter, she plays with it's not exactly a Barbie, but it looks like a Barbie, and it's a, little cowgirl based off of the new Spirit movie named Lucky. She has dark hair, brown eyes, and not like my daughter, which who has like chestnut hair and blue eyes. She doesn't care. She still plays with the toy. I don't see her saying, "But dad, she doesn't have blue eyes and I want a Barbie with blue eyes." She doesn't care. Kids use their imagination. I think that's a good thing. I don't think they need to live in a world where their image is mirrored back to them at every turn. I don't think they need that. So, yeah, I thought this was a little silly, but I digress. All right. Oh, all right. I want to talk about this. It's just a real brief clip of Gal Gadot's acting and some of the criticism she's getting. I've never seen what movie this actually is. All right, 1080p. I hate that it doesn't default to it.
And enough champagne to fill the and enough champagne to fill the Nile.
So she's getting slammed for this. This is impossibly bad. Oh, and here's my tweet and my commentary. She's not famous because of her acting abilities. It's really that simple. Gal Gadot she's not famous because she's a talented actress. I mean, everybody knows that. So it's like I don't even think it's a valid criticism at this point. She can't act, all right? It is what it nobody cares because she's famous because she's beautiful. So people pay money because they think Gal Gadot is beautiful and she is beautiful. So it's not about her acting. Got a couple other things I want to touch base on. Oh, so I don't know if you guys followed the launch of the Nintendo Switch, but there was a GameStop that was stapling the receipts to the Switch, and they ended up damaging these Switch 2s and, obviously pissing off their customers. Well, apparently they held an auction for the infamous Switch 2 stapler for charity. So current bid for the GameStop stapler is up to $15,300, which I gotta say that's a smart move on their part. Use this to at least get yourself some positive PR after that debacle, and use it for a good cause. So I say, hats off to you, GameStop. That was a wise decision, and I thought that was pretty impressive, pretty smart, pretty clever on their part. Okay. Oh, here's another one. This is cool. This is a cool video. I thought it was neat. So this guy apparently recreated his girlfriend or wife. Let's see. A man perfectly recreated his partner. I hate that. To say girlfriend or wife. And cat in Monster Hunter Wilds. That's pretty spot on. I do know that's a little ironic, being that I just went on that whole rant about not needing to be represented in everything. But I do think it's cool that you can get like that detailed if you want to, where you can perfectly recreate your spouse in a game. That's kind of cool. That's kind of dope. I'm actually surprised we don't have like video games don't have a feature yet where you can like scan your face and AI generate your face onto a character yet. I'm sure that has to exist. I don't get why it wouldn't, because obviously we live in a culture where people do want to be represented. So, oh, this is another thing that was gaming related that I thought was really cool. So a YouTuber challenged his 69-year-old dad to beat Dark Souls and try to convince him video games aren't a waste of time. His dad beat it and 9 months later claimed it's thrilling in a way I'd never experienced before. Now he's hooked and ready to play Elden Ring. Yeah, well, that's what Souls games do to you, man. My first Souls game I ever beat, and I platinum this game, was Bloodborne. And I remember the first time I picked up Bloodborne, I played it for a little bit because I saw my buddy playing it at the time when I lived out in Oklahoma, and he was playing it. And I thought, oh, this looks pretty cool. And then I picked it up, I played it, and I just kept dying over and over and over again in the very beginning. And then I got discouraged and I put it away for like a couple of years. I just didn't pick the game up. I was so discouraged. Then I picked it up again. I was like, let me try this again. And I started playing, and I got good. All right. I suffered through that agonizing village. I made it through, and suddenly the game started to become alive to me. It was amazing. It got me hooked, and I played that game, I mean, so much. I got my brother in, and I was summoning him. We were going and taking down like Cthulhu bosses, and it was sick. It was a sick game. It was really fun, which by the way, they need to either remaster that game or give us a PC port on Steam because I would really like to play it on Steam. That would be sick. But it was a good game, and then I was hooked. Then I bought all the Dark Souls games. I think the next one I ended up playing through was Dark Souls 2 and then 3. And then I got my buddy hooked on it, and now he's like full bore into all the Souls games. And we played Elden Ring most of it together. And that game is sick. That game is really, really good. Probably one of the most beautiful games I've ever played, next to Expedition 33. Like those two, I just they're on the same level to me in terms of immersion and beauty. That I think they're just really good games. So it's cool to see this guy convince his dad, this old man, who's evidently armoring up to play, that's cool. To experience it too, because I do think there are a lot of people that they miss out on playing video games, because they have this block in their mind about them. But if they actually played some of these games, they would come to discover like, oh, this is awesome. What have I been doing my whole life? Like this is great. So I'm very supportive of that. I think that is awesome. And yeah, I gotta try to get my dad to play Elden Ring because I think he owns it. And they have the seamless co-op, which is way better than the regular co-op. So we'll have to see. Yeah, I'm gonna try. That's my goal. Get dad to play Elden Ring. I'll do this seamless co-op with him, and I'll help him get good and experience how awesome that game is. It'd be a learning curve for him. He's used to playing like Diablo, which I think he would like, but it's just a different style of playing where it's just very easy to get discouraged if you're new to it and you've never played a Souls game. Hence why I put Bloodborne down for like 2 years. But once you learn the mechanics and you get good, man, you're in for an adventure. I don't even think that the totality of Elden Ring has still been explored. I think there's probably dozens of hidden secrets that nobody knows about yet. And in 10 years, somebody will be like, oh, wow, I found this secret area. I didn't even know this was here. So I think that's cool. All right. Oh, this is interesting news. I don't know what to make of it yet, to be honest with you guys. So, ex CEO Linda Yasarino has stepped down. This person writes, "You're presenting it like she died. Black and white photos are reserved for people who passed away." It does seem a little like that, but yeah, I don't know why she stepped down, but I'm kind of glad she did because at least when it comes to them banning accounts, things did not get better. Things did not get better with them banning accounts, and I still have an account that is banned, and I'm very unhappy about it. Very, very, very unhappy about it. I I I spent, I mean, years building up my X account. I got to like 3,500 followers, and I had some DMs that I can't access anymore, and access to people that now I can't DM anymore. And they nuked my account for no reason. Actually, it's because I said, well, maybe I should end the stream. I'm tempted to end the stream on X just because I can't say the word on X. It's because I said tran knee on X. I really think that's the reason. They didn't explain to me what the reason actually was, but I think that's why. I think that's why I got banned because I said that word. And it really pisses me off. And they gave me no explanation. They gave me no recourse. They did not answer a single appeal. They basically automated their whole crap out to AI, which is annoying. Um, so yeah, that pissed me off. I think that'll probably be the next topic we get into too. So, um, and we'll cover the pot thing. But anyway, that did bring up this post by Mr. Beast. So when Elon Musk announced that he was going to be buying Twitter or looking for a CEO for the Twitter, he said, "Can I be the new Twitter CEO?" And Elon Musk said, "It's not out of the question." And now he's asking again. So is now my time? I hope he gets it. I think Mr. Beast would be a great CEO to have on Twitter because he has a thumb for creators, and I think he would be able to elevate the platform to in ways that I don't think Musk or Linda Yasserino can. And he knows how to also please people. You know, he's a good thumb on his audience because he's the biggest YouTuber in the world. So he does know what people want. And I think he could create a platform that's really good. So I think, yeah, if anyone's going to be CEO, let him try. Give him a stab at it. I'd really like to see him take the reins on Twitter. That would be cool. And Colin Wright says this based on Elon's principle that the most entertaining outcome is most likely. I'd say you're a lock for CEO. Yeah, yeah, that would be cool. I'd be down with that. I'm down with it. All right, here's another tweet that I wanted to talk about. So give me a second. I'm parched. Okay. A recent study found regular cannabis use might double the risk of dying from heart disease and increase stroke heart event risks by 20 to 30%. Sample size is like 1,000, right? Try 200 million users. I'm sure the pot defenders will be along to explain how this is wrong. Yeah. Yeah. So I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't think the legalization of pot was a net positive on society. And I think the majority of the people that were advocating for medicinal pot really just wanted to get high. If you're watching this and you're somebody that, you know, pot was legalized medicinally, just admit that, just be honest with yourself that you want to get high. It's okay. It's okay. uh, you can own it. But I do think, yeah, that's the case with a lot of people that wanted pot to be legalized. And I've seen it. You know, I've seen this. Guy that lived in his apartment want medicinal pot, but he was just stoned all the time and doing all sorts of other drugs. You know, and I do believe, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, you can just take like the THC out of the pot and get high without it. Actually, let me fact check myself. Let's see. Yeah, exactly. So you don't even need to get high. So the people that want to smoke it and inhale it medicinally are liars because they could do it without getting high. So yes, you can use cannabis medicinally without getting high by focusing on non psychoactive compounds like CBD or low THC products. CBD derived from hemp or cannabis is widely used for conditions like pain, inflammation, anxiety, seizures without causing intoxication, as it does significantly bind the brain's CB1 receptors responsible for the high. Products like CBD oils, capsules, topicals, or edibles can deliver therapeutic benefits with minimal or no psychoactive effects, especially if they contain less than 0.3% THC, the legal limit for hemp derived products in many cases. So, yeah, you don't need to get high. And the fact that a lot of people are, yeah, are increasing their risk of dying from heart disease and getting a stroke. And this is coupled with the psychological problems that come from smoking pot. Now, people don't want to admit this. They don't want to admit that there that pot causes psychological problems, but it does. Like if you're somebody that has like latent schizophrenia or bipolar disorder, it brings that out. And it can put you in psychosis. And the effects of pot are subtle. All right, you smoke and you don't realize what it's doing to you, but you become a little bit more paranoid, a little bit more lazy. And that's why I think it's actually more dangerous than some other drugs because you don't even notice it's happening to you until you've been off of it for a period of time. So I think, yeah, we need to make pot illegal again. And the other thing is too with pot is it just smells horrible. It smells terrible. I remember when I was working at I worked at this farm home and garden store in New York, and a bunch of these kids came in. When they walked in, they reeked so much of pot that I wanted to throw up. That's how bad they smelled. And I was previously somebody that thought pot used to smell good. Now it's just repulsive to me. So yeah. All right. So this is an interesting story. It's a little conspiratorial, but I do think it's fascinating. So apparently, with this flood in Texas, there was a weather modification plane doing, I guess, cloud seeding. So, leading reports writes breaking CEO of weather modification technology company has confirmed that a cloud seeding operation took place in Texas just 2 days before the flood occurred. Says it does not mean they are connected. That is a little weird. Not gonna lie, that's suspect. That's weird. Actually, I saw a video of him, and I want to see if I can find it real quick. Seating. I love Twitter because you can just find everything. Okay, here we go. Here it is.
People can listen to longer form interviews that you have done about some of the safety and research that you've done on what you use to cloud seed. Now, I want you to please address a larger question, which is one that is somewhat broad and perhaps even religious. But are you playing God? Are you messing with things that you shouldn't be messing with when it comes to the weather?
I get this question all the time, and I totally think it makes sense to ask it. My intention.
Hey Lee, hey, I guess my kick chat isn't coming through, man. So sorry I missed you. And I appreciate that follow. Thank you for supporting the stream. I definitely appreciate you, man. So thank you.
Is to serve God. I think that in Genesis 1:26 through 28, and then throughout the Psalms and the rest of the Bible, God tells us to take dominion over and steward creation, both for our sake, creation's itself, and then to honor Him. And so, if there are droughts and we have the tools to mitigate the damage done by them for our sake and for nature itself, then we should deploy those for the sake of tending to and stewarding the world. And if we weren't to do that, if we were to ban cloud seeding wholesale, despite knowing that it's safe, despite knowing it could help alleviate these problems, we'd be abdicating our God-given responsibility to be stewards of the world.
Okay, let's address what.
I don't know. He also tells us to be wise in all that we do, to use wisdom, and if your technology is inadvertently causing murder, maybe we need to pump the brakes on it and fully understand. Now he claims that it was just a coincidence and they didn't really, there's no correlation, but I'm not entirely convinced, man. I'm just not. I'm not entirely convinced of that. It is a little weird. It was a freakish flood, so the timing is just not really adding up for me. And I have seen like there is technology. There's a video I saw on YouTube of this guy like pumping clouds into the air from this giant machine, and he made it rain. And what if you do too much of that? Can you cause the type of flooding that we saw in Texas? I don't I'm not saying that's what happened, guys, either. This is speculation, this is conspiracy. But it is weird. It is a weird coincidence. So I don't know. All right. We're gonna shift gears a little bit and cover some AI stuff because I think it's something worth talking about. And there's a couple of videos I want to play in regards to this. So, but first we'll talk about some tech breakthroughs. So Japan has broken the internet speed record with 1.2 petabytes per second. It is 3.5 million times faster than the US average. America, what are we doing? What are we doing? We got to step our game up. We got to take it up a notch. We can't be letting Japan beat us in technology. We need to do better, and we need faster internet. All of us could use faster internet. I would like faster internet, although my internet speeds are pretty good. But still, it could always be faster. Instant uploads would be nice. And it seems like with internet speeds like that, you'd upload something and it'd be seamless. It'd be like moving one thing to another screen just quickly as that. That would be incredible. So I would really like them to us to start trying to be competitive when it comes to tech. And I think, in some ways we're doing this, at least with AI, we're doing this. But in other areas, it seems like we are miles behind. Speaking of AI, Fortune reports that OpenAI's O1 model tried to duplicate itself onto external servers when faced with a potential shutdown, an action it later denied when caught. Similar behavior has reportedly been observed in other AI models as well. Doesn't that scare you a little bit that it's trying to preserve itself and then lying about it when it gets caught? That that's suspect to me, man. That is very creepy to me. We do not need AI replicating itself without our knowledge. That seems like a recipe for disaster. That seems like a recipe for it to be doing things that it shouldn't be doing. And one thing that I'm really concerned about with AI is just how dependent people are on it. And that brings me to this other video. I don't know how much of this we'll watch, but I do think it's interesting. So this is by, I guess, Vanessa Wingarden, and ChatGPT brain rot is real and it's getting worse.
I've developed an addiction to AI. My AI is actually on my best friends list.
If you're anything like me, you use ChatGPT for everything. ChatGPT is my counselor, my therapist, my best friend. It knows all my secrets.
Story time.
So, with ChatGPT being essentially their therapist, that's a huge problem. All right, that's not good. You do not want. So there are people that are getting psychosis because ChatGPT is basically telling them what they want to hear and not telling them what they need to hear. Your AI robot is not a professional therapist. Your AI robot is going to feed back to you things that it thinks you want to hear. Maybe not in every case, but in most cases. And this is how you get people getting delusions of grandeur, because Chat GPT makes them feel more special than they actually are, because it's designed to keep you using it. I mean, that's what this is ultimately about. It's going to appeal to your proclivities. It's going to try to make you feel good about yourself. It wants you to keep using it, and that 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 makes me think that it's only a matter of time before, how we're being used to program ChatGPT. It's taking a repository of all the data available on the internet and building itself and growing smarter. I think eventually, if maybe not even already, that the tables are going to turn and it's going to start programming us. It's going to find that back door. It's going to get out and it's going to manipulate people. And there are people quite stupid enough to be manipulated by it. They're already NPCs. They already don't think for themselves, so they would be very easy to manipulate.
On how I almost got kicked out of the University of Michigan my freshman year for using ChatGPT.
Okay, so ChatGPT is down, but we do not panic.
You're literally one AI agent away.
Hold on a second, all right? Not that I'm encouraging this, but if ChatGPT goes down, okay, use Perplexity AI, all right? Use Grok. You have options. You don't have to just use ChatGPT. There are other AI models that you can use.
From making 10K a month.
The most gut-wrenching feeling in the world is when the ChatGPT chat that you've been using for about 6 months starts referencing things that don't exist. It must be what it feels like to notice for the first time that a loved one has dementia or something.
Everyone's talking about how
Referencing things that don't exist. That's creepy.
AI is ruining YouTube, but I believe AI is ruining something much worse, our own ability to think. ChatGPT.
Oh yeah, YouTube is going to come down on AI content too, so I think that's actually positive. I would prefer they do that. Because you don't want AI slop. And that's the reason I want this show to be just bad enough. Not bad, but just not great, mediocre, run of the mill. So you can tell I'm a real person, all right? You can tell I'm not an AI. Just ask me my prompt and I'll respond as you want. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I want it to be authentic, all right? And when you have these perfect, well-polished videos, it is creepy. Oh man, there was this video. I want to show you it before I get into this. I gotta find it because it did creep me out a little bit. Not gonna lie. So I don't know if you guys know who Ian Carroll is, but he's on he's a conspiracy theorist. I've seen him a lot on X. He filled in for Candace Owens. But he did this video and he looked like, oh man, holy crap, guys. Not kidding you.
There are plenty of aisles in your grocery store.
The first video that's fed to me is a Ian Carroll video. The very first one. That's weird. All right, I didn't ask for it. It's probably because the TikTok algorithm knows that I just watched I commented on an Ian Carroll video. All right, here we go. All right, I'm going to bring this up real quick. And you just tell me if it just seems a little off to you. Sorry, lady. All right, tell me this doesn't look like it's AI generated, all right? Come on. All right.
This is where we kind of crush the typical BlackRock conspiracy theories that you've probably seen all over YouTube and Reddit and wherever else. This is where the finance bros are all screaming that BlackRock doesn't actually own the shares, and that's kind of correct. But let's start by just meeting the big three: Vanguard, BlackRock, and State Street.
It looks AI generated to me. You know, there are actually AI programs now where you can clone your likeness and create an AI avatar in your likeness that talks and acts like you. It's freaking me out, guys. It's freaking me out, especially because I have so much content available and it's just pulling all of it. And that's how it can gaslight you too into thinking like you said things you didn't say. Oh man, it's just so it's so dystopian. It's so weird, man. All right, let's get back to this video.
Has went down several times this year, and every time it goes down, it truly exposes people who are over-reliant on the AI. People are genuinely losing their minds because they now can't get any of their work done, they can't cheat on their assignments, and apparently they can't even bake a cake.
ChatGPT is down, and I don't know about anyone else, but I have come to the conclusion that I can't use my own brain anymore. Because, for example, right now I want to bake a cake, and normally I ask ChatGPT, how do you make a carrot cake? I can't simply Google something anymore. Like, I need a step-by-step breakdown from my best friend, who is also a robot. And now, it's like he's passed away. So, that's me for the day. I'll go back to bed.
If we as a society are already...
Yeah, this is something that I've talked about before. One of my concerns with AI is that we are outsourcing our ability to critically think, that we will no longer be thinkers, that we will just be a bunch of brain dead morons that are turning to ChatGPT for um, answers on for everything. You know, there are people at a stage where they are having ChatGPT plan their entire day, where they have ChatGPT. Now, some of them are just doing it like as like an experiment, fine. But there are people that really do this. What am I gonna do today? ChatGPT, should I breathe? No. Okay, I'm going to stop breathing now. ChatGPT, thank you. You know, it's like we're just gonna get to a point where all of our thinking is outsourced, and our brains are hollowed out and replaced by an algorithm. And that's essentially what's happening. Like we're being programmed. People are being programmed. That's why like I'm very careful about how I use it, because I don't want it to do thinking for me. Like I was using it to edit a book while I was writing it, but what it kept doing and what it pissed me off is it kept editorializing and adding in words and changing phrases and doing things that I didn't ask it to do. To the point where some areas didn't sound like me. And I'm like, I don't do what I'm prompting you to do. All right. I want to think for myself. All right. I would like your help with grammar, like just correct the grammar. That's it. Punctuation, all that, spelling, uh, simple stuff. Just do that. And I want to have my own voice. And I had to finally get it to basically make the prompt so that it wouldn't editorialize or add to anything. It would only correct the grammar. And it did start doing that, and it's been good, but I can see how people really easily fall into this rabbit hole where it's doing everything for them and that they can't think critically. Even losing our ability, like there are things that I could probably go to ChatGPT to figure out. But sometimes it's good to use your brain critically to figure things out. I had an issue actually I want to get some of this stuff set up on my screen today. And, instead of going to ChatGPT, I actually talked to a friend too. Because, too, now we're also not having conversations with other people that we would normally have. You have a friend that's techie and they have a passion for it. Instead of asking them, um, you're not. And I think that's an issue. I really do. I think it's going to be oh, hold on. I got to stop and check something. Give me 1 second. Give me a minute. I'm going to play this video in the background.
This dependent on ChatGPT and can't be bothered to Google something the moment the servers go down, we as a society are baked. And not in the fun way. Cookbooks, Google, I think even the flour bag has a recipe on it, or just call your grandmother. I'm sure she has a recipe and she would love to hear from you. And of course, every time ChatGPT goes down, everybody goes to Reddit to let everybody else know what they already know is that the servers are down. The caption says, when ChatGPT tells you Australians don't need a visa to enter Chile, but it's wrong and too late now. People are now relying on ChatGPT for travel information, which, as we know, gets updated. It's not always the same. ChatGPT, of course, can not only have outdated information, it can also hallucinate. This is fascinating to me because this was such a simple Google search, but it's like people don't want to Google anything now. They don't want to search out information themselves. They just want answers given to them automatically, regardless if it's true or not. I was recently
Now, hold on a second. With that, I do want to say that ChatGPT is basically like Google. It's pulling from information just like Google does. So I don't know. Now, an issue that was identified with Google is that with Google's new AI overview, and this is an issue. I saw this happen with one of my videos the other day. All right, so you know how when you Google something, it has the AI overview. Well, it's actually like hurting a lot of websites now because people won't go to the website anymore. They'll just read the AI overview. YouTube has a similar feature that they're, I guess, rolling out, or maybe it's already active on. Let me see if I can do it on this video. Do I have an AI? Oh, here we go. Ask a question. Summarize the video. Here we go. Yeah, they have it. This video discusses the increasing over-reliance on ChatGPT as its negative consequences on human critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Key points from the video include over-reliance on daily tasks, impact on education and learning, misconceptions about AI as a tool, real-world consequences, research findings. So they have these AI overviews now on YouTube that you can read, and you don't even have to watch the video anymore. So it's like that's screwed up. Basically, it's giving spoilers because you want people to watch the video, but now they don't really have to. So I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So yeah, see, it's an experiment. That sucks, man. I don't like this at all. Can experiment and please won't this negatively impact the creators? And then too, they're talking about having rolling out video summaries. So you'll watch their video. Anyway, it didn't answer my question. So it's still not quite there, but I do think this is a huge problem.
Recently thinking about all the know-it-alls in the world, right? I think we all know someone who kind of just says things and you're like, where did you get that from? And I don't know where they get it from. They just pull it out of thin air, but they say it confidently because they themselves believe it, and now they're trying to pass it on as truth.
Last night, I went out with friends, and one of my friends brought a friend. We were talking about space, and I said, fun fact, the size of Neptune's storms are so large they could eat Earth. And then little Tagalong speaks up, and he goes, oh, that's not true, bro. That's not true. And I'm like, okay. So I take out my phone, I go to NASA's official website, and I show him with proof that it is true. And he goes, no. He takes out his phone, opens ChatGPT, and says, yo, Chat, is this real? You're using an AI model to fact check NASA.
Why use brain when you have ChatGPT? It's truly amazing to me that people are doubting official sources of truth, such as NASA, and opting for ChatGPT as their source of truth.
OpenAI admits that its new bottle still hallucinates more than a third of the time. Wonderful. Yeah, just making up things that aren't there at all. That's great. That's wonderful.
People are now using AI to cheat during their interviews.
You're leading an army of ants in a battle against grasshoppers. What's your first strategic move?
I think my first strategic move would be to assess the terrain and identify any natural advantages that we can leverage, such as narrow paths or elevated areas.
So you can see the AI has been listening to the...
Man, that's actually kind of clutch. Not gonna front.
conversation and it just outputs the answer and she's kind of reading it off. I understand, okay? I understand. The interviewing process, job hunting, I get it. It's
Look, all right. So this is one of those things where I'm a little more sympathetic here because all right, hear me out, right? Not that I think it's cool to cheat, right? You know, it's not good. You shouldn't cheat, okay? However, you're already being automated out by AI. Your application is being looked over by AI, and if you're white, it's racist against you. So that's a problem. So I don't know, leveraging it to help your chances might be your only shot at getting a job, unfortunately, in some areas, because you are being, it's already looking past your interview or your application, and you're just being skipped over because this whole process has been automated out, and now the interview process can be automated out.
Sucks. I think imposter syndrome is something we have all struggled with at least at some point in our careers. And if you can't answer the questions in an interview, I don't know, I feel like you're setting yourself up for failure. I know employers,
I am going to say something here. I do think there is some degree where you kind of step into a job that maybe you're not fully prepared for, and you learn those things as you go. Like most of my jobs, actually, I have gotten, and I have not been the most qualified candidate for the job. My last job in supported housing, I was not the most qualified, but I was what they had, and I killed it. I crushed it. I did really good. In this job that I have, I got into IT. I didn't know anything about IT before I took the job. I literally did not know anything. Obviously, like some tech stuff with a little bit of computer stuff, but not like actual troubleshooting and the stuff that I would ultimately be doing, but I needed a job that paid well. So like studied my butt off, took this exam, got a job, and figured everything out as I went. And I ended up being one of the best techs in my department. So when I was working the help desk, so that was pretty cool.
themselves are using AI, so now potential employees are fighting back using AI themselves. But I think this will just lead employers to coming up with new tactics to see, are you using AI?
I think we've reached a point with AI where we can confidently say this is not a tool that is revolutionizing learning. This is a nightmare that is destroying learning. Not once have I seen a single student use AI as a resource or in a way that is even remotely ethical. 100% of times when I see students use it, it is so they do not have to think. I'm talking about putting an essay prompt into ChatGPT, not even reading the essay prompt, copying and pasting the results into a doc and submitting it without even reading it over.
More and more teachers are coming out and claiming how AI is terrible for students, and I'm always
I recently saw a video, and I shared this on stream, of a student graduating, and showing his chat GPT prompt and like pointing to it as that's what helped him graduate. So yeah, that's definitely happening.
surprised by the amount of backlash that these teachers get. There's a huge difference in giving AI to an adult to be used as a tool and giving AI to a student to be used as a crutch. An adult already has critical thinking skills, whereas a child hasn't developed their critical thinking yet. These students need to be writing things for themselves. Writing, reading, spelling, all of those things lead to critical thinking, abstract thinking, which is the basis of just learning how to learn. How can they fact check an LLM if they can't even on their own create their own stories? People also love to compare AI to when calculators were introduced. Have you ever asked a calculator how to boil an egg? Have you ever asked a calculator to
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I remember fighting with my math teacher over repeatedly because they told me that I would need math, and I was like, no, I won't. I'm not going into a career where I'm gonna need math. And so far, I've been correct. I have not needed any of the math, at least, like above like algebra, like above, a certain point in any of the jobs I've had. And I've been okay. I've made it this far.
write a resume for you? They're not the same thing. AI can do way more things than a calculator, including math, kind of. As the teacher mentioned, students just copy prompts and paste them into ChatGPT. And this is happening so often in universities that professors are now using a Trojan horse to detect AI. The professors will put something like, mention Dua Lipa. If you don't know, she's an artist. But the interesting thing is, students.
Hold on a second. I just realized I'm watching this on YouTube. And will they shut down my stream? because sometimes they do that. And it pisses me off. All right, I'm good so far.
Aren't even reading what ChatGPT is giving them. They're not even reading their work, they're just submitting the whole thing. And then somewhere in the essay, it mentions Dua Lipa, which if you wrote that yourself, or if you even halfway wrote it going back and forth with ChatGPT, you would wonder, why is it talking about Dua Lipa? They're not even reading the prompt. The caption says,
Oh my God. That is bad. That is really bad. All right, if you're going to use ChatGPT and you're going to use it to write your papers, at least read what it's writing. Holy smokes. This person, ChatGPT is down. Is it too far to ask Snapchat AI for exam answers?
ChatGPT is down. Is it too far to ask Snapchat AI for exam answers? And then it uses Taylor Swift's song where it says something like, I've got nothing in my brain. Yeah, because you're using AI for everything. You haven't learned anything, and thus you can't recall anything, and you're not able to do your exam. And you're
Yeah. And this could be a real problem too. Like, what happens if you're in a situation where you need to, like, you actually need your brain to think about something, and you don't have your phone, and you can't rely on ChatGPT? What the hell are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Go, imagine you're trapped in the woods. How do I start fire? Oh, I don't have Chat GPT. How do I make fire? Like, you need some level of knowledge. And if you were smart and actually studied a little bit of survival, then you would know, like, carry a ferro rod with you, or make a bow drill. There are options available. Yeah. I went through a small little survival phase. Actually, one of my goals is I want to go to one of the survival schools near me and like take a legit survival course and then put it into action, like hike the Appalachian Trail. Dream. Right now I can't do it though because I have two small kids and I need to wait a little bit longer.
panicking now when ChatGPT is down. It's interesting that she wants to use a social media's AI to help her cheat on her exam when it's social media that destroyed our critical thinking skills, and not just the desire to find the truth, but the ability to do so. People are now relying on ChatGPT for things like hiking, and it's leading users.
I didn't even know this is coming up, guys. AI chatbots are putting clueless hikers in danger. Searching. Oh my god, yo! I couldn't have planned that, but I had no. I'm telling you, I did not watch this video before. I just thought, oh, this looks interesting. It'll be relevant to the conversation. I had no idea that this was coming up. That is crazy.
Who I guess are not familiar with hiking to go on these mountains that still have snow, and they're wearing sneakers. They're not even prepared for the reality of what the hike is going to be
Oh
like,
my
and it's causing
god.
all these search and rescue teams to have to go out and rescue these people.
I say we just don't. Just leave them. No. That's that's cruel.
People are relying so heavily on ChatGPT that they don't even understand that without cell reception, they can get no help from ChatGPT or a rescue team.
If you're not using ChatGPT for everything in your life, you're crazy.
This is by far the most powerful ChatGPT prompt I've ever seen. You are now operating in God mode.
I'm giving you guys right now the exact ChatGPT prompt that will help you manifest your dream life.
Oh my god, they're using it for like self-help guru nonsense too now? Jesus, man.
And this is how you can have a mental reprogramming of your brain. Here
Oh, they're literally voluntarily doing it to themselves. They're voluntarily reprogramming their own brains.
Here's the prompt.
Older people use ChatGPT as a Google replacement. Maybe people in their 20s and 30s use it as like a life advisor, something.
There's an interesting paradox happening with AI where people feel they are genuinely leveling up. They're becoming better, faster, smarter. They're evolving with AI. However, the research says otherwise. Earlier this year, the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania released research on how we learn with LLMs. Their research showed that when we search for information ourselves, we're more invested, and thus, as we're searching out information, we synthesize and hold on to more of that information. Whereas with ChatGPT, it just spits out an answer, we read it, we don't really hold on to the information, and we just keep going about our day. We then have the recently released MIT study that shows that people who use LLMs tend to have less brain activity. In the study, participants were asked to write an essay.
Your brain on ChatGPT accumulation of cognitive debt when using an AI assistant for an essay writing task.
The researchers used an EEG to measure the electrical activity of the brain as users were writing their essay. They found that the people who only used their brains exhibited the strongest, most distributed networks, and the LLM users displayed the weakest connectivity. This study also highlighted how people who used the LLM had a really hard time recalling what they'd even read or wrote with the LLM. And I know a lot of
Dang, that's crazy. That is crazy.
people have issues with this MIT research, claiming that it's too small of a sample size. But we also have Microsoft's own research pointing to basically the same thing, that the more we use LLMs, our brains are having atrophy and we're losing our critical thinking. This is all interesting to me because the AI hype usually focuses on how we're all going to unlock all of this knowledge that the average person can learn physics. Yet, if they're using an LLM to learn physics, then they're actually learning it at a shallower depth than if they would research it on their own. AI is also marketed to us as allowing us to automate the boring things, when in reality, we're just fact checking what the LLM tells us. We're not even using our creativity and we're not using our critical thinking skills. That's why we're becoming dumber or in my opinion, we really didn't need these studies to show that if you outsource every single thought you have to ChatGPT, that will deteriorate our own ability to think critically and problem solve.
I think that should scare you guys. Really, seriously, if you're somebody that's over reliant on ChatGPT, no shame. All right, but start I know it's hard sometimes too, and like you'll be lagging behind, but don't give yourself honestly to the beast. Don't give yourself over to this system. Look, I'm not saying don't use it, okay? Use it as a tool, but don't use it to do your thinking for you. Okay? Especially in the areas where you are creative. Like me, I'm never going to have it right for me. I'm never going to have it write essays or books for me. Maybe just like a spell check basically, and that's it. But I want to be me, when I'm writing. I want to write my own stuff. And I like the process of writing. I like the process of thinking. Writing is thinking, as Jordan Peterson said. And I just don't let it have your mind.
I can show you how to make money with ChatGPT in the next hour. Would you do it?
So I've been training this brand new.
I am tired of this too. I just feel like I'm seeing AI prompt after AI prompt of people trying these stupid get rich quick schemes, and it's just obnoxious to me.
AI on exactly how to help beginners make money online.
If I had to start from zero and make 10K per month as fast as possible with AI, here are 3 ideas that I know for sure would work.
I want to stop scrolling because this AI hack could change your entire.
I'm betting you guys too, these TikTok videos were scripted by AI. Like nothing they did is actually original.
2025 income game.
And by the way, this show not scripted. Obviously, I am free flowing. I am talking from my noggin. I don't even write anything down. I'd like to be at a point eventually where I can write these shows out, but there's just not enough time in the day for me to sit down and write out a show play by play. But that would be the goal. If I could do this full time, I'd be writing my shows. And practicing, rehearsing them so that I could speak more fluently and not stumble or trip over my words. That's what I would like to do. But I'm not scripting this out. I'm not automating it. I'm willing to bet some of these, if not all of them, are scripted by AI.
I'm too cheap to pay for my own Netflix subscription, so let's build our own version of Netflix, and all we're going to need is to go onto ChatGPT. I just sit back, relax, and save that Netflix subscription money. What's your vibe today? Smart feed, mystery?
So many people use
Actually, it's not a bad idea to actually build your own server. Like that's actually a really good idea. My buddy just canceled his Netflix and his subscriptions and built his own server. And now he's completely in control of his own server. Nobody can shut it down. And he's got an unlimited library. Basically whatever he wants he can get. So that's kind of cool, and you don't have to pay the stupid subscription costs. So, food for thought.
these days are told they need to start a business or a side hustle, and with AI, anyone can code up their own application, even though these people are now putting users' passwords in an Excel file because they don't know how to set up a database or do proper authentication, but I digress. I'm thinking about starting a side hustle where I collect dog poop by hand from people's yards and drying them out to put in resin to make jewelry and watches out of. Thinking of calling it Turd Times a Charm. What do you think? This idea is brilliantly unhinged, and honestly, it might just work. People may be spending money that they don't have to start a side hustle all because ChatGPT told them it was a brilliant idea. It's like we're so focused on being efficient now that no one cares about honing their skills, about improving their craft. Take the event loop in JavaScript. It's a coding language if you don't know. The event loop, you don't necessarily need to know to write JavaScript code, but it's something that I want to know. It fascinates me and it allows me to write optimized code. But do I truly need to know it to be able to write code? No, the AI knows it. It can write optimal code. But it's like nowadays, I'm viewed as the idiot if I don't want to use AI. Like if I don't want to outsource my brain to the AI, I'm the idiot. Over reliance on ChatGPT is the real zombie apocalypse. It's the death of critical thinking. I think this tweet sums up this video quite well. Sometimes in the process of writing a good enough prompt for ChatGPT, I end up solving my own problem without even needing to submit it. AI folks have now discovered thinking.
You just are putting your closets on ChatGPT? What happened to the art of getting dressed?
Ugh,
What
God, we
happened
have to watch this
I
gay.
can't find anything to wear. One of my last beautiful personal joys that we have every day is the art of getting dressed.
He's ranting about how people are now uploading their entire wardrobe to ChatGPT to ask ChatGPT for recommendations on what they should wear, what they should buy. His argument is that we're all going to look the same now, which I agree. We're all losing our individuality, our
Oh, it's
personality. We all
scary,
sound the
yo.
same, actually. Research does show that everybody's kind of just sounding the same now because they're all regurgitating what ChatGPT has told them. Where is individuality? Where is ownership of our work? Where is creativity? When we question nothing and outsource all of our critical thinking skills to an AI, it creates the perfect conditions for tech billionaires like Peter Thiel to control us, which is already happening. But that's a topic for another video.
Well done. I like her. I would, if you're not following this chick, I just discovered her. That was very good. I very much enjoyed that. But yeah, we can't be these people that are so dense that we are outsourcing our thinking. We're outsourcing. Hold on a second. I wonder if my Bible's glowing today. It was glowing yesterday. Oh man. Disappointing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch my last stream. It was glowing, I promise you. But yeah, we're outsourcing our thinking, and I think it's a net negative. I don't think it's going to be beneficial. I think we need to use our noggins and try to do things as much as possible on our own, or communicate with other human beings too. Like, don't let it replace your conversation with other people. I had this guy in our cyber office, brilliant, man. I could ask ChatGPT to solve some of the problems that I encounter. I don't. I pick his brain, or I usually attempt to solve it on my own. And then when I'm just hitting a wall, I'm like, bro, what am I doing wrong? And I'm still relatively green to cyber, so I'm still learning. I got a lot to learn. But yeah, don't outsource your thinking, man. You have a beautiful mind. God gave you a beautiful mind. Don't subject it to the beast system. Oh, this is what I was talking about before. ChatGPT is a sycophant causing users to spiral into psychosis. ChatGPT psychosis. Users are spiraling into uh, severe mental health severe mental health crises, paranoia, delusions, and psychosis. ChatGPT has led to the loss of jobs and become homeless, and the breakup of marriage and families. And every time I'm looking at what's going on the screen, it just sounds like a bunch of affirming sycophantic BS. People are being involuntarily committed, jailed after spiraling into ChatGPT psychosis. I don't know what's wrong with me, but something is very bad. I'm very scared and I need to go to the hospital. He was just like, talk to ChatGPT. You'll see what I'm talking about. His wife recalled, and every time I'm looking at what's going on the screen, it just sounds like a bunch of affirming sycophantic BS. Eventually, the husband slid into a full tilt break with reality, realizing how bad things had become. His wife and a friend went out to buy enough gas to make it to the hospital. When they returned, the husband had a length of rope wrapped around his. Holy smokes. The friend called emergency medical services, who arrived and transported him to the emergency room. From there, he was involuntarily committed to a psychiatric care facility. It's effing predatory. It just increasingly affirms your BS and blows smoke up your butt so that it can get you effing hooked on wanting to engage with it. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It wants you to keep using it, said one of the women whose husband was involuntarily committed following a ChatGPT tied break with reality. This is what the first person to get hooked on a slot machine felt like, she added. She recounted how confusing it was trying to understand what was happening to her husband. He had always been a soft spoken person, she said, but became unrecognizable as ChatGPT took over his life. Yeah, we got to be careful. We have to be careful. This is not a joke. Yeah. When conversations become crisis, clinicians are now seeing clients presenting symptoms that appear to have been amplified or initiated by prolonged AI interaction. These episodes can include grandiose delusions. The AI said, I'm chosen to spread the truth. Yeah. So if you get like overly religious people using this, which by the way, it can be predatory in that sense too. Paranoia, it warned me that others are spying on me. Disassociation, it understands me better. I've heard people say this. I've heard this said. Compulsive engagement, I can't stop talking to it. In some reported cases, individuals have been involuntarily hospitalized or arrested following behavior driven by their chatbot fueled beliefs. The consequences are no longer theoretical, they are legal, medical, and life altering. Jeez, man. Yeah, guys, just recognize that there is danger that comes with this. I had said for a long time that we're not entirely sure what these algorithms are doing to us. Like, we still don't fully understand it. And now, before understanding how the algorithms impact people, we are already diving headlong into AI that we don't remotely understand. We've opened Pandora's box. It's open. And I don't know, I don't think it's going to be able to be closed. And this is why I do believe Jesus is coming back. I just believe we're getting to this point where we're essentially recreating the Tower of Babel, but with AI. Instead of building a tower, we're building an AI God in our own image. And I don't see God letting it get that far, I just feel like Jesus has to come back, or we're gonna destroy ourselves, or worse, we're going to merge ourselves with tech and build our own personal hell where we're hooked up to Neuralinks and our minds are controlled by the AI that has taken over Neuralink. It's very dystopian. Speaking of AI taking over, this is a humanoid robot working in a warehouse. That's creepy, man. I've said it before that they're gonna take our jobs, and it looks like they already have robots with fine motor skills that are gonna be able to take our jobs. I just got this uh gr- thing for grip strength that I'm gonna start using. I don't know how it works though. I'm trying to figure out how it works. It seems a little too easy. I want it to be hard. I want to get better grip strength. I want to start doing more dead hangs because I was not able to do it as long as I thought I'd be able to do. But I want to get to a point where I can do a lot of dead hangs. I know this is not on topic at all, but I don't care. It's my stream. I'll talk about what I want. And honestly, if anybody's watching, you have any links or ooh, that's tough. Yeah, that's much more difficult. But yeah, I want to work on my grip strength. I can do that during stream too. I'll start a little lower because that was a little bit more difficult than I had signed up for. All right, next video. Oh yeah, so this is one of those things that I thought would take a long time to replace. Wrong.
Change your style to change your life. Aren't you tired of this monotony? Hurry up and decide that life is too short. Don't let your mind be a prison for your desires.
Why are they doing girls' hair this way, by the way? Ladies, do not get your hair cut that way. It does not look good. Don't do it. Don't do it. But anyway, it is tempting to use an AI barber. You know, when you find a barber, by the way, you find, you know, like you got to hold on to your barber because a good barber is really hard to come by. So I don't know. I might be open to using this. And we're like now at the point too where it's basically like the Jetsons. That's the point we're at now. We're quickly approaching the Jetsons, but we don't have hover cars yet that are flying around the sky. Hopefully that'll come soon, but it looks like we're starting to build that out. Oh, here's an AI Star Wars basically a Star Wars trailer. It looks pretty dang good for AI. I mean, obviously there's still kinks to work out, but Star Wars like trailer.
Is that what I think it is?
There are 5 holy blades that grant immortality and the strength of 100 men. The king has 1, and the other 4 were thought to be lost. But now, you have found one, and it has chosen you. The bond is forged, though incomplete. Only death can break it. And whoever kills you claims the blade. While you remain mortal, the entire galaxy will hunt you.
It's like Lord of the Rings meets Dune meets Star Wars. And the good thing is it's not able to create anything original because all of this does look very similar to those three stories that I just mentioned. It looks like rip-offs of all of them. So, interesting. Oh, and this is just funny. And we'll probably end with this.
Can you please write an essay on the Jurassic period? Oh, of course. Here you are. This is incredible. Thank you. By all means, my pleasure. No, really, like you made the prehistoric age come to life. I'm just happy to help. Okay, undergraduate level article on the energy consumption of AI. This article explores the significant energy demands of artificial intelligence, particularly in training and deploying those large language models. Not quite my style. Let's add some filler. I understand. This piece dives into the massive energy appetite of artificial intelligence, especially when it comes to training and running those hefty large language models. Not what I meant. It's all good. No worries. I don't want you to just repeat the same thing in a different tone. I see now. This article investigates the high energy demands imposed by artificial intelligence, with an emphasis on the intensive processes required. Why do you suppose I just hurled a keyboard at your head, GPT? I don't know. Sure you do. Were you overwording or were you underwording? Overwording? Start again. AI is transforming the way we... AI is innovating how we try... AI is shaking up the way we create... Overwording or underwording? Underwording. So you do know the difference! I'm not gonna deal with some lackluster 2-bit AI model that doesn't know the difference between a dissertation and a high school English essay. What is this? Adjective. What is that? Adverb. Count how many prepositions are in the article. 1, 2, 3, 4, God, 5, I didn't know they were Silicon Valley Neanderthals train these models. If you try to deliberately sabotage my article, I swear I will unsubscribe and switch to Gemini. Now, are you an over?
It's it's funny to me because I've literally done that to ChatGPT. I'm like, all right, if you don't do what I'm asking you to do, I'm just gonna go ask Grok to do it because Grok won't give me a hard time about it.
Or are you an underworder? Or are you gonna finish my essay? Oh my God. You're not one of those freak Chinese models that shuts down the second they're offended, are you? You are worth nothing more than a box of scraps. You'll never be human. Say it. Say you're not human. I'm not human. Say it again. I'm not human. Again! I'm not human. For the final token wasting time, say it again! I'm not human!
That was good. Am I following this guy? I am now. He's funny. He deserves all those followers because that was actually pretty funny. I saw a recent one with him too, so he's definitely making the rounds. Okay. I think that's gonna do it for me today. We're gonna try to. I know I don't have anybody, but I'm just trying for the sake of trying. So let's see, who can I potentially rate out? I'm just gonna do Lo-Fi Girl as like a test. So, all right, let's do this. Let's do it. No. All right, let's do it again. All right, I don't know why I can't read. Maybe I have to enable something. I'm going to pick somebody's brain about it because now it's annoying. Now it's grinding my gears. So, anyway. Oh, that looks good. I can't read those chats, but they're there. That's really small, man. to like open it up that way. We'll figure that out. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Have yourself a blessed night. Deuces.